So apparently Donald Trump and his people are infighting in the Republican Party, the White House, and among his advisors. And I want to show you guys what's going on. This is the Wall Street Journal today. It says Trump advisors urge him to find Iran exit ramp, fearing political backlash. Number one being gas prices, as Americans go to the pump and it's like, what the heck? I just, one day it's up 50 cents and this is insane. And so what they need to do, this is from the Trump point of view, is how can we declare victory and then they can leave, right? Which is easier said than done because this was a loser move to get into this thing and you're left with basically loser options. Do you keep continuing this thing on with cost in dollars, cost in lives, you're ruining relationships? Do you just run away, right? Is that something you can do? Because there's the Pottery Barn rule, which is basically if you break it, you own it, right? So you broke it, you need to fix it. And that's not going to go very well either. I mean, it's just a terrible move all around and they need a way out. That's basically what it is. And if you listen to Trump today, the way that he's talking to Fox, they're on the defensive. So listen to this. This has just come out a few minutes ago, what Trump is saying on the inside.
Ainsley, good morning. Overnight, I spoke with President Trump for about 20 minutes as he traveled from Florida back to the White House. We spoke about Operation Epic Fury, how it's going, and his thoughts on Mujtaba Khamenei, Iran's next supreme leader. He told me he's not happy with that selection, adding, "I don't believe he can live in peace." I also asked the president about the timing of this operation, why he decided to order strikes when he did. He told me when we attacked them first, we knocked out 50% of their missiles, and if we didn't, it would have been a much harder fight. The president went on to say no other president had the guts to do it. I don't want some president who hasn't got the courage in 5 years or 10 years to go in. There were a lot of moving parts in the decision-making process, the president told me, but he said if we had waited 3 days, I believe we would have been attacked. I also asked President Trump about the possibility of negotiation with the Iranian regime. Back when I interviewed him last year in Jerusalem, he told me he had conversations with Iranian leadership. And I said, would you be willing to talk to them right now? And he told me, I'm hearing they want to talk badly, adding that it's possible. Depends on what terms. Possible, only possible, he said. We sort of don't have to speak anymore, if you really think about it, but it's possible. Clearly, President Trump is leaving open the door here. But it's important to remember that the Iranians are getting hit very bad right now.
And that's what they're saying over at Fox, right? And this is like Trump's people who are trying to support him. And I'm sitting there listening to this thing, and I'm the guy is going over the transcripts of the phone call they have with Trump, and it's like lots of nonsense, isn't it obvious? And these people have to come up with like some way that they can say, hey guys, we won, everything's great. But it's clearly not. Let me show you guys also what's going on. They want Iran to surrender, but that's not going to happen. It says Iran's Revolutionary Guard said they would not allow, quote, 1 liter of oil to be shipped from the Middle East if the U.S. and Israel attacks continue, prompting a warning from President Trump that the U.S. would hit Iran much harder if it blocked exports from vital energy-producing regions. So now Trump and such are getting a bunch of pressure from multiple countries like, you got to figure out a way, a solution out of this thing, because oil is not just spiking in USA, it's spiking everywhere. And you also saw it in the markets. And so Trump was like, okay, well, I'll just declare victory and hopefully everything will be calm. But it's just like, it doesn't really work that way, If you look over to what Iran is saying also, it says, Iran war live, Tehran vows to use powerful missiles, rejects Trump talks. Okay, so no talking there. And then you have this, there's the election of the new leader, or picking of the leader, however you want to state it. And you have people in the square. This says crowds gathered at Engelhab Square to celebrate the announcement of Mujtaba Khamenei, the new supreme leader of Iran, which is a pretty sizable crowd. You can hear what it sounds like here a bit. You get the basic idea. So, and there's not really reliable polling on, public opinion of, how many people back the new leader or not. I mean, there's no way to know. Other than I can see with my own eyes, there is some support there, right? And he's got an easy message from his point of view, is just like, we're getting attacked by foreign invaders. We need to defend the homeland. And it's the simple message that any person in this situation can do, and people are going to rally around the flag. And the difference is then, how are you going to say, like, tell Americans, hey, we really need to ship all of our kids to Iran?
Up to our allies, step up, get our air bases out of Spain. They're not reliable. Move all those airplanes to a country that would let us use them when we're threatened by a regime like Iran. To our friends in Spain, man, you have lost your way. I don't want to do business with you anymore. I want our air bases out of Spain into a country that will let us use them. To our Arab friends, I've tried to help you construct a new Mideast. You need to up your game here. I can't go to South Carolina and say we're fighting and you won't publicly fight. What you're doing behind the scenes, that has to stop. The double dealing of the Arab world when it comes to this stuff needs to end. I go back to South Carolina, I'm asking them to send their sons and daughters over to the Mideast. What I want you to do in the Mideast, our friends in Saudi Arabia and other places, step forward and say, this is my fight too. I join America. I'm publicly involved in bringing this regime down. If you don't, you're making a great mistake, and you're going to cut off the ability to have a better relationship with the United States. I say this as a friend.
So that's Lindsey Graham saying he goes to South Carolina and please, send your sons and daughters. We're going to go fight in Iran. And people actually in the Republican Party are calling out this. This is actually one of Trump's biggest supporters, Luna. She goes on TV all the time supporting Trump. She's the one who wants Trump's face on Mount Rushmore. I wish I were making up, but that's seriously what she proposed. She says, this is a representative, she says, there are some in the Senate that advocate for war everywhere. Lindsey Graham is one of them, okay? He does not tell the president what to do, nor does he control Congress. I have spoken with the administration a number of times, as well as other members of Congress over the last week or so, and nothing has changed regarding boots on the ground. No boots on the ground. If Senator Graham wants to go fight in a foreign conflict, let him be the first to volunteer. So this is like this is seriously, this is a really deep mega person, like one of the top Trump supporters calling out Lindsey Graham.
I want to ask about what the Wall Street Journal is reporting about your colleague, Senator Lindsey Graham. The Journal is saying that Graham traveled several times to Israel in recent weeks to help make the case on Iran, meeting with members of the country's intelligence agency, spoke with Netanyahu, coaching him on how to lobby President Trump for action. Graham said that Netanyahu showed the president intel that persuaded President Trump to go ahead. Senator, I know you all talk to foreign leaders, and that happens routinely. But speaking to a foreign leader on the precipice of war and seeming to be lobbying or being an intermediary, which this seems to indicate, is that the right way to go?
Well, listen, Lindsey is passionate about defending America, and he is on the road a lot. He's talking to world leaders all over the world. There are times when I agree with Lindsey. There are times when I don't. But when it comes to
what
the
about
threat,
this? Well, what about this? I mean, this is something of a totally different level, is it not?
Yeah, I would agree. This is something on a totally different level. Here's the thing. This is Fox News talking about, that's, Luna before talking about this. I'm wondering, is like Graham a foreign agent at this point? It's what it sounds like to me. And is Trump being manipulated by, other governments? I'll let you guys be the judge of that one. But I'm just showing you like what people are talking about, because where is the public support to where if we're going to send our sons and daughters from the USA into Iran, like who's cheering for this on other than Lindsey Graham and whoever Lindsey Graham is meeting with? I mean, I'm showing you guys what it's about. And then you look at stuff like this. This is what local Americans are talking about on the street.
Along Iran's southern coast, the Strait of Hormuz is at a virtual standstill due to the threat of attacks. That has led to a nearly 50-cent surge in U.S. gas prices in just the past week, and drivers are starting to take notice.
It was quite a bit higher than what I was expecting. It's crazy high.
Between my husband's truck and my car, we're well over $300 a month in gas.
At work, I make around like $18 an hour, and that's not even a full tank. It's like 2 hours at work is one tank. All of my money has been going to gas.
Today was kind of a big sticker shock.
It's getting tougher and tougher to live.
Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. Yeah, you better believe people are taking notice. Those gas prices have gone up a lot, and they've gone up in a very short period of time, John.
Sandra, that's all anybody's talking about. I saw gas the other day. It was for $2.98, and then that shot up to $3.49. And I saw diesel for just under $5 a gallon.
So that's Fox News talking about just regular people's lives, that basically gas is through the roof. And so how do you, if you're Trump, how do you sell this to American people? Oh, yes, we need to keep fighting. I mean, I guess, is it only Lindsey Graham who's like the worm tongue? Is that what we're doing here? And that's why I told you at the beginning, the Trump people are like, okay, we're in this loser situation. How do we declare victory and say that we won and get out? Right? That's what they're talking about right now. Take a look at this too. This is what they're talking about in England.
I understand the anxiety felt by families and businesses during these incredibly uncertain times. And this conflict affects us all, and we must respond to it. As I have demonstrated time and time again, I will take the necessary decisions to help families with the cost of living and protect the public finances. Yeah. I'm clear-eyed about my response to the current situation. My economic approach will both be responsive to a changing world and responsible in the national interest. The economic impact of the situation in the Middle East will depend, of course, on its severity and its duration. The movements that we have already seen are likely to put upward pressure on inflation in the coming months. But I also want to confirm to the House that our financial markets are functioning, and I'm in regular touch with the Governor of the Bank of England.
And so what they're doing over there, like she just mentioned that, the quote is likely to put upwards of pressure on inflation. And they're trying to convince everyone, hey, our markets are great, everything's fine, we're doing all we can for regular people. This is in the UK. I just want to give you an idea, because this is going on everywhere in the world. It's actually same here in Korea. They're just talking about they want to put like a cap on gas prices, and they'll do some sort of policy to make sure that people can afford to get to work, basically. Like regular people on the ground aren't like, oh yeah, I really want to go attack Iran. This is just regular people that are just like, hey, I just want to get to work. I want to take care of my kids, that kind of stuff, right? Gas is too expensive. That's how normal people talk. That's why I showed you the Fox News clip. And it's the same all around the world. That's what we're looking at UK. And then when Trump's just like, oh yeah, Iran's going to, surrender. We beat them so easily, so fast. Well, listen to what they're saying in Iran today. This is what them talking right now.
As a new supreme leader, what does that mean for your military effort and the confrontation with the United States and in Israel?
That means the system is quite functioning.
So the United States says it's drastically degraded the Iranian military, the capabilities as far as missiles is concerned, drones is concerned. How much longer can you do this?
That is one of the false narratives that the United States government is producing. Iranian military is quite strong, as you see, because they have the motivation, they have the arms that they need, which are produced in Iran. As a matter of fact, we are not dependent on any other country for weapons and arms.
So your side is ready for a long war if the United States and Israel choose that. Do you consider this an existential threat to the Islamic Republic?
It is an existential threat to the Islamic Republic, and therefore we have to stay with full might, as we are doing now.
And so the things I wanted you to get from that is that the current leadership in Iran, as he was saying, they're motivated, they have the weapons, and they're prepared for a long fight, which is completely understandable because that's their homeland, right? And again, the easy message they just tell their people, the foreign invaders are coming to take our oil, right? Let's not let them take our oil. Let's not let them take our home. And they're not going anywhere. And from Trump's point of view, he's like, hey, I'm just going to come in, get an easy political victory. Look at how awesome president I am. I win wars, right? But it's not easy. It's not short. And the American people aren't going to have the motivation that, say, the people in Iran are. I think it should be obvious. And so that's what we're faced with. Trump's trying to play the political game of declaring victory as quickly as he possibly can and looking for some sort of exit ramp. But what's that going to be? We're going to find out. So that's my thoughts on this. I'd like to hear yours, and I'll catch you all in the next video.